be spiritually connected, physically fit, mentally alert, economically sound, socially responsible. So these are the skills. If you reskill yourself, no way that you will not, your life will not be meaningful, your career will not be meaningful, your job will not be meaningful. Now 6:26, 34 minutes for question answer, and sir, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sahu. I have, I think, really, in the two slides which you have shared, rather three slides, there is no better way it can be captured with regard to the essence of where we lie as a country vis-a-vis what the world is up for. Also, ladies and gentlemen, it is important for you to note that while he mentioned about the fact that how of the top 10 companies, 7 companies are occupying a pretty formidable position, it's a matter of pride that organization like Reliance and the Tata's TCS is uh, actually giving a befitting response to the global leaders by shaping up in a manner. So I think uh, all of you, it was nice that if you have been enjoying this session, and if you could put in the chat box if you liked what Mr. Sahu was saying and it was relevant to you, and you could correlate to in such a crisp and easy to understand manner. He focused on how certain aspects of technology and the future trends with regard to employment opportunities. So please put it out there. If you want to thank him, say thank you, sir. You want to put a clap, you can use the please don't unmute. I will request the admin, please don't suddenly unmute 100 people, then it is going to be absolute cacophony. And this, please use the chat box. I have put in the chat box a message about 6:22 p.m. saying, in case you have a question, please put your question in the chat box here and we will choose the relevant questions and direct them to Mr. Sahu. So I have a couple of questions, Mr. Sahu here. So one question has come from Srijita Roy. How this pandemic, yes, thank you, Surya Kantakur, you can put a thumbs up and stuff like that. Thank you. Sir, how this pandemic will change our upcoming job scenarios, how to prepare for the post-pandemic. Okay, I think Srijita, Mr. Sahu has focused on that and he's spoken about that, but do you little bit want to, because the young minds, those who are actually now undergoing their graduation, the undergraduate or postgraduate level, maybe either graduating this year or next year, are really worried about the fact that how will companies come to their campuses and do the campus interviews and stuff like that. Any thoughts around that, Mr. Sahu?
Whenever you ask me a question, my mind goes to one of my poems or poems of Rabindranath Tagore or Santha Kavi Bhimo Bhoi from Odisha. So when you are saying, Srijita's question, I have a question, how this pandemic will change our upcoming job scenarios, how to prepare for a post-pandemic job market. 35 years ago, when I was at your situation, Srijita, if you are a student, we had no jobs in our country. You all have so many jobs, my sister. We had no jobs in our country. We had no jobs. Lakhs of us used to apply for a bank officer's job. One or two will get selected. Lakhs of us again will be left behind and again apply, and another one or two will get selected for the second bank or the reserve bank, or one or two will get 700-800 of them. Those who would have like backlog of 7, 8, 10 years, they will give IS exams. So 10 lakhs of them will give, and 700-800 will get selected in civil service. 100 of them will be probably IS, and others are allied services. Private sector services were all in sales or in the back office of those who didn't study engineering in the back office. And those who studied engineering, they had jobs in the factories, but none of the jobs was worth doing. Believe me, I remember still the first train I took from Bhubaneswar to Mumbai. I can never do it again. If you are my daughter, I'll not let you, or my son, I'll not let you to live that journey again. My son is of your age. When he asked me the same question you are asking, I always tell everybody, At every stage, every age, when one opportunity vanishes, 10 other opportunity emerges. Two kinds of people are there. They keep looking at one opportunity which vanished. There is another kind of people that look at 10 opportunities who are emerging. The people, those who look at 10 opportunities they are emerging, they continue to strive hard, they never give up, they remain persistent, they remain persevering. I call it river philosophy. If you look at the river, I have a poem on the river, but I don't want to read so many poems today. Some other day you call me, I'll read. So in the river philosophy, what happens? I'm not answering your question directly because my answer to your question will not be real answer to your question. So let me give you a philosophy of life. In the river philosophy, what happens is just imagine when a little water oozes out from a mountain. What is its destination? Its destination is ocean. But when it is oozing out from Himalayas, it didn't know that it will be river Ganges and reach Ganga Sagar in Himalayas. But it kept oozing out. There are hills, there are rocks. Everybody stopped it. The summer dried it up. The rainy season came, it got little more water. In the summer, little more snow melted. Ganga kept flowing, flowing, flowing. Monsoon after monsoon, it kept waiting. Summer after summer, it kept waiting for snow, little more snow to melt. And once it reaches the ocean, it becomes eternal from ephemeral. So if you treat your life as a river, take the least resistance path, accept, embrace the world as it comes, and in every monsoon carry little more water. Every winter, summer when the snow melts, carry little more water. Keep moving towards your destination, your direction, towards the ocean. You move from ephemeral to eternal. All of us, whether it is Devasis, me, all of us in our generation, we built career like that. I never knew one day I'll be group president in Reliance Industries, nor the global HR head of Wipro Technologies. Work 20 years of my life out of 30 years with the two richest billionaires of the world, more than billionaires, two biggest visionaries and two biggest monks of the world. Like who actually, people think what these guys do. These guys are no different from your Himalayan monks. For them, from the morning they get up, the night they sleep, 18 hours per day, they focus on what they are doing. You may be thinking, oh, what a money they are earning. Believe me, I have never seen neither Mr. Ambani nor Mr. Premji talking about money. They keep talking about what are the tasks to be done, how to do it better, what are the new technologies emerging, how to learn those technologies, how to embrace that, how to build businesses around that. My dear friend, my dear students, how this pandemic will change our upcoming job scenarios. Whatever you are seeing, the change I talked to you about industries, physical is becoming digital. More essential services are receiving prominence. Rural is becoming more opportunistic. Service orientation is creating better value than the intellect orientation. Technologies are creating better value than otherwise. So build those skills. Don't be in a hurry. Don't try to jump in a job because currently the situation is bad. Currently the situation is really bad. And if you say, if I don't get job now, what will happen? You will be mentally depressed and mentally affected. Don't do that. You say this is an opportunity for me to sharpen my saw, to develop better skills, and to get more prepared when the jobs come. And at the same time, intelligently, you look at which all industries are bringing jobs. E-commerce industry is bringing jobs. Please apply for e-commerce industry. Hospitality industry, once the pandemic goes, will again open up the jobs. The healthcare industry is increasingly giving the jobs. The technologies industry will just not remain pure technologies only for engineers. The periphery of the technologies industry, because of the physical structure of the business, will create a lot more jobs. You will not understand what is physical. Physical, in the very crude example, in case of retail, that when you are giving an order, we are digitally processing it, but physically somebody is delivering you. But you don't want to be a physical delivery boy. But in every 10 delivery boy, you need a manager. with a supervisor. With every 10 supervisor, you need a manager. Lakhs of jobs will get created there. So if you are digitally smart, if you are service oriented, if you are responsive, if you are free from ego, there is no way that you will suffer.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Sahu, on this. So I will go with the next question. Just I will take maybe just a couple of minutes to quickly share some points. Actually, Dr. Patra had told me to share certain insights about how I look at it. So, Mr. Sahu, with your permission, if I
Yes,
can
sir.
speak
Go
for
ahead.
just a few
Yes, sir.
minutes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, dear students, and at least those who are there on the line, and also the faculties. If you notice of late, there's been a great demand around things like cloud computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, cybersecurity skills, even gaming. You know, uh, Actually, with data, I mean, most of the skills will have multiple takers. Uh, there is really no merit in elaborating these opportunities, which are self-evident in an environment where digital services are going to grow exponentially. Jobs in these domains will be plentiful and will pay well too. So expect serious demand supply gap, and many edtech players, ed-tech players, are rushing in to make a big buck by providing quick fix learning solutions. And Mr. Sahu has spoken about education and education technology already. The next is the sort of new opportunities in data literacy, data science, data analytics, and data visualization. Keep a note of these four phrases: data literacy, data science, data analytics, data visualization. Of the research which I undertake and with my team, statistics indicate that the global data usage has increased as much as 38% year on year in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. So there's a lot of opportunities coming up for data engineers, data analysts. Now I'm speaking a lot around technology-based positions, but one thing which is coming up very much, of course, the authority in this is Mr. Sahu, because he hails from the fraternity of HR and strategic HR. But I would possibly take this liberty to a little bit talk about how important emotional intelligence is playing a role. And a lot of jobs in customer care, logistics, counseling, consulting, research, qualitative analysis, they are opening up where EI, would be a focus area for those who can demonstrate that you have a high level of EI compared to many others. A lot of new types of service at home jobs is coming through. I know of a company based out of Bangalore. We are mentoring that company. It's a chef on call, so you can actually have somebody who can come to your home because you may be used to having the same sort of food over the last 4 months. Today in Kolkata, there is a new barber on wheels. So you have a salon on wheels which has started, which comes in here and gets you a haircut in a nice environment, and it's a very nice way things are happening. Quite a few things are there which is bringing in things. Importantly, a lot of employment opportunities come up in the smaller towns. You know, 30 to 40% of actually employees who are hailing from a lot of smaller towns and district locations. Even if you're studying in a B school in a metro city, many of you all would actually be there from the fringes, from various districts. So a lot of small towns have suddenly become the focus area where a lot of hiring is going to open up. Automation in agriculture, so what we have conventionally known as agriculture, is not going to be only the focus area. There's a lot of automation in agriculture, and agriculture is going to form a major thrust area uh, for the job opportunities coming up. I'm not saying you have to study agriculture management or something like that, but keep your eyes and ears open and keep yourself updated on what's happening in that domain. And last but not the least, I'll share something which is a very interesting piece. It's called a rhythmic workplace for the future. Now, rhythm, and I must really appreciate. I think I've said this multiple times in the last 1 hour, but I can't stop appreciating the aspect of Mr. Sahu while being a top-notch corporate professional working with the chairman's office of the largest company in the Indian subcontinent, he still has so much empathy towards the finer aspects of life, which relates to, spirituality with regard to Rabindranath Tagore, um, creative and performing arts poems, and the rhythm in the workplace is going to happen. So the four things, if you actually visit an Apple showroom, you visit any iStore, you will see that the store is very minimally, laid out. There's very minimal furnitures, very less furnitures. There's not a lot of displays and stuff like that. Have you noticed that? You'll always notice that the Apple stores are very different from the other conventional stores. So I'm not trying to say that Apple is a great company and we should copy that, but the four things for rhythmic workplace is team space, which is traditionally known as the office, the me space, which is our home, the open space, which is like the cafes, the co-working spaces, the lobbies and the parks, and the virtual space, which is something where we are in now, the holistic connector to each other. These four areas of team space, me space, open space, and virtual space is actually going to create a very rhythmic overall workplace environment in days to come. So you need to be equally conversant, competent, and build your skills around each of these spaces. You cannot say that, okay, fine, I only know the virtual space, but I really don't know how it works in office. I stay at home, but I really don't understand what it takes to sit in a cafe and have a business discussion or use a co-working space without stepping into, my office, which may be 50 kilometers away. So, I just wanted to a little bit share my thoughts around this and, certain things which was happening. I hope, Mr. Sao, you find a little bit, a couple of these things interesting. I was doing some amount of research yesterday for this, and but I thought it is just something which I would like to share with the students.
No,
Uh,
that's excellent.
thank you, Mr. Sao. I will take a couple of more questions which has come in. Uh, okay, so I would request things which relates to technical aspects like GST and all. I will skip some questions which I've already told you. Um, so somebody asks, how will Pavel Sarkar, sir, how do we skill ourselves, or what will be the necessary skills that companies will want from us for better employment? So, okay, so his question is directly on the fact, what should I actually learn so that I get hired faster? Mr. Sao, your thoughts on that, please.
Yeah, actually, like I told you, companies are very badly challenged. Other than the e-commerce technologies and essential services comes e-commerce is actually including that. Companies are very badly challenged. So badly challenged today. Government is challenged. Companies are challenged, and it's like a cyclone or a kind of storm coming, kind of earthquake coming, and actually hurting your state, hurting your city. Like your houses are broken, your trees are fallen. We are actually in that kind of a devastating situation. Now, having said that, should we give up? Because when a devastation comes, it brings along with this lot of opportunities. So when you see lakhs of people are getting infected and affected, there comes the healthcare jobs. So the healthcare jobs is going to be the biggest job in this country. Elderly care is going to be the biggest job in this country. You will say, I am an MBA. How will I be a healthcare worker? You are not becoming a healthcare worker. There is a nurse, there is a lab technician, they are becoming healthcare workers. They need a manager. How you can be a better manager if you are in a finance function? How you can you learn all the financial tools in a digital context? If you're HR manager, how can you learn empathy? How can you learn services joy? How can you actually, when the nurse is going and treating a COVID patient, how can you actually inspire that person, nurse? Okay, my sister, okay, you are going there. I know you are risking your life, but we, the whole organization is behind you. Like when a retail worker is going today, delivering to your house, at every point of his time, he is risking himself getting infected. Now, how do you motivate them? How do you take care of them? So we are telling, oh brothers and sisters, here is the medicine, here are the preventions, here are the globes, here are the kind of masks. Here are like all kinds of tools we are giving them. And despite that, they may feel, kind of disastrous. They may feel, kind of what these guys are doing. But they are looking for that little empathy, little sympathy, little kind of support, like you are solving their problem. So now the skills, like I have told all these skills, I'm repeating it again. Service is joy. You have to be a servant leader now. This is the biggest opportunity in the history of the mankind
True.
to
Very true.
get service as an opportunity. Never ever in the last 100 years, anybody, even our parents and forefathers, had this opportunity to serve the mankind, to serve people around. Like मैंने बोला, if you have two breads, can you give one bread to your person around you who is not getting food? When you had this opportunity, the whole world was well fed. Suddenly you see, you will find people around you are not getting food. You'll find animals around you are not getting food. The dogs around you, the street dogs are not getting food. The animals are not getting food. So what I'm essentially saying is, I don't want to be true altruistic, but the essence is service is joy. One. Second is the river philosophy. Whichever job I'm getting, whichever skills I'm, whichever opportunity I'm getting, rather than being like my senior got a job of 10 lakhs rupees, I have got a job of 3 lakhs rupees. Should I accept that? Don't ever think, accept it, learn, develop the skills. If you have no jobs, work in social service platforms like Mo Sahaya. Volunteer yourself. We are training every day 50 engineers, 50 MBAs, and 50 operating officers become graduates. We are training them every day. I spend 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, morning 9 to 10, and evening 8 to 9. Any of you are interested to join, I'll send you the link. One day you see how we train those people, MBAs in business management and engineers in technologies and operations people in operations. So if you are not getting a job, do social service. Don't bother whether you're getting money or not. Keep yourself busy, keep yourself engaged. If you don't want to do that, you want to sit at home, develop skills in Coursera, edX, Udemy, go there, learn online. I am doing that. I'm teaching myself in quantum computing, AI machine learning. I'm teaching myself in econometrics. So you can do that. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a scientist, but I'm training myself up to the extent I understand. Whenever I have time, I go to MIT edX site and see MIT lectures on quantum computing. What is this quantum computing? China is investing $10 billion. My country has no resources. So China is advanced in quantum computing. Tomorrow they will make all our power plants useless, our nuclear plants useless, our missile system useless. Then we are a country is defunct. So what is this quantum computing threatening us? Out of curiosity, I'm training myself up, educating myself up. What is quantum computing? I'm not a student of physics. I'm not an engineer. So my friends, if you want to build skills, if you want to learn skills, you can do so many things. I have a 7 o'clock webinar internal. So in another 2-3 minutes, I need to leave and get little prepared.
Absolutely, sir. But we'll respect that. I think.
And that
I,
GST question, sir, Dipanjan Chakrabarti, sir.
yeah.
So what happens now? It's like we are a family who have been devastated by a cyclone. So today we have lost all resources as a family. हमारे पास जो है sir, our state, our country, we ourselves, we are all one family. हमारे पास अभी बहुत कम resources है और enemy is at the border, enemy is at inside the home, that is COVID. God knows whether China created COVID and sent to our homes to attack our border or what, we scientists are not able to figure out. In that situation, sir, हम अभी माने क्या ज्यादा रिटर्न मिलेगा बैंक इंटरेस्ट से, क्या स्टॉक मार्केट से मिलेगा, वो नहीं सोचते हैं. जो कुछ है सर उसको प्रिजर्व करके कैसे ये पार हो जाते हैं नेक्स्ट 2 years out of this pandemic. That is actually my own personal approach I am taking. I suggest that approach will work. Let's be aligned to our nation. Nation is one. Whoever be the prime minister, whichever party rules the nation, India is India. India is our motherland. If we don't protect India, what happened 1,000 years to us, you have all seen. Bengalis led the war front, the freedom struggle front, and we all followed. So if we don't protect our nation, this is the time to protect the nation. This is the time to protect all our people around us, who is rich, who is poor. All of us have to be together. So now is not the time to think about saving and getting earning. Whatever little we have, let's preserve. and manage carefully. That will be my suggestion to you, Dipanjan sir.
Thank you very much. With this, ladies and gentlemen, I think we need to allow Mr. Sahu spent a long time. Please understand, as somebody who's at his level, at his stature, if he's invested so much time, I'm sure we have to reap the right dividends out of this. Remember, don't think any time spent is just like about, it's been spent for the sake of spending. There's a massive investment. He's shared so much details with you, so much some very, very beautiful glimpses of data, so much of learning otherwise about how you can shape yourself up to be a brilliant human being, not only just as a professional, because if your fundamentals, the foundation of being a good human being is intact, you can build a solid career on that. So thank you very much. You can again use the chat box if you want to thank Mr. Sahu, a thumbs up, thank you, sir, clap, clap, whatever you want to send in. Please feel free to use the chat box and do it. And thank you so much, Mr. Vijay Sahu. And sir, this has been a really enlightening, and then I'm sure it's going to be extremely enriching for the faculty, students, and also I'm getting a lot of offline messages in my WhatsApp from HR specialists and people like 20, 25 years in HR who's been head of HR with organizations, the BK Builder Group and all are appreciative about the fact that they really spent this time worth and they're feeling good about it. He has to log out now, but before I conclude, I would like to hand it back to the organizers, Dr. Patro, the director, if he's here now, Dr. Subramanian, and Professor Shobhashachi, for the concluding remarks. And uh, I would share, once I get it from Mr. Sahu, quite a few students are saying they would like that link and the details of that particular initiative, Mr. Sahu, which you spoke about, where students
Yes,
can log in.
I'll
I'll be
send
sharing
to
this out.
Ashish ji. You can
I
circulate
will
to
do that.
everyone.
I will share it out. So students, don't worry about it. I'm getting about 30, 40 messages on my message box. It will be shared with your college management and then it would be put into your WhatsApp groups. With this, I hand it back to Professor Shobhachachi or Dr. Patra for the closing remarks, and then we will close this session. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, many people asked if this PowerPoint can be shared. No, this is proprietary. This is something which belongs to the speaker, and just I'm sure you would have enriched yourself with the data and the information. It is not obviously an open public property. So I just wanted to clarify on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Devashish sir. And so we have seen a very interesting and insightful discussion so far. It has been rightly highlighted that Reliance Group's impactful contribution in PM and several CM relief fund to create some sort of reliefs in COVID-19 era, and also Mr. Vijay Sahu highlighted how Jio came into the picture to take control over telecom industries and revolutionize it. He stated that India has 116 million migrant workers and how they have suffered during COVID scenarios, including the current sufferings of middle class. It is great to hear that how Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan is taking an active part in Mosohai. Also, he rightly highlighted the importance of the contributors like farmers who are the pillars of bottom of pyramid. We also saw that the industries based on technologies and telecoms are blossoming. Service-oriented skills are going to definitely stay here. We have to think how we can support digitally towards the farmer. Hence, the business is moving from physical to physical, and also alongside going with the physical, we need to retain our humanity and humanistic vision. Devashish sir also rightly highlighted about the new opportunities on cloud computing, AI, gaming, automation in the job aspects. And as per the request of our honorable principal sir, I am highlighted few points. Along with that, I want to highlight like on how AI analytics is going to take play in the pivotal role in the post-COVID era, both for the engineers and management students. The new job
Okay,
roles taking
Professor
place in
Sabasatchi, just we will
financial.
please do continue, but please do continue. We will continue, but I
Okay.
think we have to excuse Mr. Sahu. He has another call at 7.
Yes, yes,
I
please,
would like to
please, please.
respect his time. Students, please stay on because your professor is going to speak. But before Professor Sabasatchi continues with his speech, once more, a very, very warm, welcome, Mr. Sahu, for today as you came in, and a heartfelt thanks to you from the governing board of the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan management, on behalf of the governing board and also on behalf of all those who have been attending. Thank you so very much, sir. And For all those who are messaging, yes, we will share the link. Trust me, it will allow us a day's time. Let this thing finish. I will share it with your principal and then it will come to you. Thank you, Mr. Sahu, for your time. Thank you so very much, sir, for
I'm
all
Thank
the
you,
great.
Mr. Sahu.
I'm
Thank you so
grateful to
much.
all of you for inviting me, and thank you, Dr. Patra,
Thank you,
and
sir.
thank you all my dear students. Sorry that we had some technical hitches, but I'm sure our head of technologies will take care next time. And all the best to you. You don't worry, you will get much better jobs than I have got. I didn't have anything where I started from. Today, God has brought me so far. So trust in God, keep working hard, serve your parents, serve your country, and be positive about life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sustainability. So
Professor Sabasach, you can continue.
Okay, thank you very much, Devasi sir. I just want to conclude with by highlighting few points regarding the job aspects on analytics in the post-COVID era. For example, we can see the new jobs are blossoming in the domain of the finance, marketing, HR, and along with the business analytics. That's why even in management studies of the BBA and MBA, we can see the emphasis on business analytics in current course curriculum. The global big data size to grow from 138.9 billion USD in 2020 to 229.4 billion USD by 2025. And as per the report of the Hindu, there will be 3 lakhs jobs on the best of the analytics and automation by 2021. So in the overall business analytics market has valued from 67.92 USD billion in 2019, and it is expected to reach 103.65 billion by 2025. So keeping those facts in our mind, the job aspirants should upskill or reskill themselves in terms of the analytics, because it is going to play the pivotal role, as I mentioned earlier. And obviously, a big thanks to our speaker, Bijay Shahu, moderator Devasis Vishwas, for sharing their time and insightful thoughts. I am quite sure that the participants have got to have some great benefits from this particular webinar. Thanks to Honorable Director Dr. G.V. Subramaniam and our Honorable Principal Dr. R.K. Fatro for their encouragement and cooperation in making the event grand success. I am thankful to our tech team, Mr. Rana Ghosdostidar and Tapan Das and Amlan Mitra for marketing team. Thanks to the participants, including faculty, students, and industrial experts for making this webinar a grand success. Participation certificate will be provided to you by our admin. And before the end of today's webinar, I request Mr. Rana to play the national anthem, and I request all of you to please stand up. So, Mr. Rana, can you please play the national anthem to conclude the session? So, is he there?
Is Rana there? Uh,
Is Mr. Rana there?
because it shouldn't be that we continue standing and he's not playing the national anthem.
That's
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा शुभ नामे आगे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rana, for playing the national anthem. And definitely, we are going to come up with another new topic, another new blossoming topic to enlighten our participant with the new aspects of the Industry 4.0 era. That's all for today. Thank you very
Yes.
much
Okay,
again
before
for
we
joining
finish,
us.
Mr. Shobhashachi, just a quick
Yes.
thing. A
Sure,
couple of
sure,
questions
please.
coming up in the chat box. See the link about what Mr. Sahu talked about. It is going to be shared with the management of your college. And then the management would decide how they would distribute it. I'm sure they have the details of the students. Whether it can be shared outside the the Bhavan's group, that the management will take a decision. So I will request the director and the principal to intervene on that. That's one. Two is, of course, these sort of webinars always benefits you a lot. And I, being a part of the governing board, and also I'm sure Dr. Patra would be happy, and so would be Dr. Subramaniam, that we will keep coming back with quite a few. I think one webinar or two webinars would not solve the purpose, because there's a lot of changes happening post-COVID. So we will come back with more interesting things and newer aspects of how you can handle the your career better and make it more meaningful, so that companies can come and they would love to recruit you from the campus. We will keep coming back with more information and more details. So please do keep in touch with us for that. And thank you very much for your time. Dr. Patra, any closing words, please?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Patra. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you, Devashish sir, for sharing your precious time with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think if it is over, we can log out now.
Sure.
Okay.